Welcome to the Early Morning Light Podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Early, and on this podcast, I share life-changing tips, tools, information, motivation, and inspiration to bring light to your life as you tune in to the Early Morning Light Podcast. I'm so excited that you chose to tune in again this week. And this week, it's the night of the NFL Draft 2024. And I don't know about you, but I just love the game of football. I've been around the game for most of my life. My kids have played. One of them played football. And I've just been around the game, and I just love the game. I know the game takes a lot of criticism because of the physicality and some of the CTE and all the things that people talk about. And I know those are real concerns, but I would be lying to say that I don't still love watching this game. Now, I'm a little too old to get out on the field and try to play the game. That wouldn't make sense, but I love watching the game of football. So tonight is the NFL Draft 2024. So you're going to have 3 nights, I think it is, of players at the collegiate level being drafted into the NFL with an opportunity to play the game that they have been playing all of their lives. What an opportunity. What an opportunity. We're talking years and years of work that has gone in to getting to this point. I know it's a game, and I know people may feel some type of way about that, and that I'm making that the topic of the podcast. But I love the game. I love what these nights mean to the lives of these young men as they walk across that stage, or as they get that call from that team saying that we want to draft you. I just love it. I love it. It just does something for me. I mean, it just fires me up to watch, because I know for a fact that many young men and women have had dreams of playing professional sports, of getting to the league, whatever league that is, whether it's the NBA, the NFL, the soccer league. I mean, many young people have had that dream of getting to the league and what that means to their lives. So I still get fired up about this. I watch most of it. I can't say that I watch every single pick, but I'll be watching the first round or so, a couple rounds, and I tune in from time to time. I just love hearing the stories of what these guys have done to get to this point of being picked up by an NFL team. So I was just thinking, what is it that determines whether or not someone goes from that idea, or what I like to call the dream of being a professional player, NFL or any other league, to actually getting that opportunity to play for an NFL professional team? What does that take? And these are just the 4 things that I believe are crucial from the people that I've studied and the stories that I've watched, like what it takes to get there. And I don't know all of the details of what happened with every individual single player, but there's 4 things I think has to happen. Number 1 is that they have to have, at some point, every player that's going to get drafted had a big dream. Just like you, I'm sure you've had a big dream about something big that you wanted to do with your life. Maybe it was in sports. Maybe it was some other area of business. Maybe it was, some other dream you had of creating something big. I don't know what it is. It can be anything. But at some point, each player that's going to be drafted tonight had a dream, a big dream of playing at the highest level in the NFL as a professional football player. But what I also know about each one of these guys, and I don't even know any of them really, I don't know any of them, is that At some point, the dream became not just a dream, it became something bigger. It became a commitment. So that's number two. They at some point said, I am all in. Let me say it again. It went from a dream, this big dream, I want to get out there and I want to make it to the NFL, I want to play at that level, to I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. And we all know that many people want this opportunity at some point, have the big dream of playing at this level, but only a few of them actually make it. And I'm going to go out on a limb, I think a pretty strong limb, and say that the reason they make it is because that dream, that big dream, went beyond a dream to an all-in commitment. And I believe that's the case for all of us. If there's a big dream that we have, whatever it is that we want to do with our lives, or it's big or small, however you look at it, at some point, you've got to go all in. You've got to make an all-in commitment, whatever that means. And many of us can talk about and can remember experiences with making an all-in commitment and what that means. And that means nothing's going to stop you because you're all in, right? You're all in. So the dream, the number two is the all-in commitment. So each one of these guys you're going to see get drafted tonight at some point made a commitment. But how many of you know that it didn't stop there? I mean, that's not enough. You can have a big dream, right? And you can say, I'm all in, I'm going to do it. But we all know that it had to go further than that. Each one of these guys, and I don't care what negative opinions you have of the NFL or the behaviors or any of that or anything negative you say, each one of these guys has, number three, has put in the work. I've seen some of these guys try. I've been around it. I've seen the training and the working back through injuries and just the amount of time that they put into their bodies, into their strength, into their speed and their skill. I mean, it's work. It is work. And, no matter how you feel about it, that is what it takes for someone to get from that dream to making the commitment. The next step is that they have to put in the work, and these guys have put it in, which is one of the things that makes me excited about watching the draft, NFL draft, and NBA, but all of them is I just start thinking, man, the amount of work that these guys have had to put in to get to where they are. And the work's not over. We know that. But to get to that stage, it took a lot of work. And I'm going to throw one more thing in that I think separates these guys from those who may have had the dream, big dream, may have at some point made the commitment, and may have even put in a lot of the work. I think one of the things that separates these guys who are going to get it tonight, get drafted, is that they never gave up. They never gave up. And I am not silly enough to think that there weren't moments as they went along the way that they didn't consider giving up, especially the ones who have suffered injuries, right? We know that's common in football, right? The ones who maybe lost positions, maybe had people doubt them, maybe had tragedies happen in their life, right? Just because you have a big dream doesn't mean that your life is not going to be hit with tragedies. I'm sure they had all of that, but they didn't give up. They didn't give up. And because they had the big dream, just as you have probably had a big dream about something, they made a commitment, they put in the work, they never gave up because they went through those steps. They're going to get a chance tonight the ones that get drafted, to walk across the biggest stage of their lives and to begin to live that dream that started as just a big dream. So I say to you, maybe it's not, the NFL draft. Maybe it's not a professional sport. Maybe it's not anything on that grand of a scale. But what dream do you have that you may have even made a commitment to? That maybe you started to put in the work and something happened. What is that dream that you have? I'm just here to tell you that you're still here, right? Your life still exists and you still have an opportunity to fulfill. And I'm not just speaking to you. This is something that as I watch these guys that I reflect on and think about for myself. What's the dream? Some of you are living it. And I think that's great. That's great. And you've put in the work. Yeah. You made the commitment, you put in the work, you didn't give up, and you're living your dream. I know a lot of people who are doing that. And I think that's awesome. But I want you to think about yourself. Like, what is the dream? And are you living it? This is Tracy Early. Thank you for tuning in to the Early Morning Light podcast. I am going to go watch the NFL draft right now. Please continue to tune in. Invite your friends. Like this podcast on all the platforms. And I will talk to you soon.